It's Tracey and Noelle. They're gonna make you LOL on 90 Day Fiancé Trash Talk.
Hello and welcome to 90 Day Fiancé Trash Talk. This is episode 142. I'm your host, comedian Tracey Carnazzo, joined by my guest co-host, Shannon Lee.
Hi, Tracey.
Shannon, what a terrible way for everyone to find out that I fired Noelle.
I know. Again, you fired her
Again.
again.
I can't believe this is our relationship hasn't been great. And I just feel like I needed a little bit of a change.
I understand. Well, you're not learning your lesson if you keep taking her back.
I know, but she has such good arguments, you know?
I understand.
Like, so we'll see if she could beg her way back next time. Just kidding. Noelle will not be joining us today because Noelle is mourning her little puppy died.
I know. So sad.
Oh, it's so sad. She's doing such a great job, though. She took such nice care of him. He was about 148 years old. And she is quite beside herself. So we are here to send Noelle love and, you know, just make her smile. Hopefully she'll listen, but she probably won't.
Understandable.
Because who the hell wants to listen to your own podcast? I would also like to take this time to dedicate this episode to our trash talker who I just learned had passed, Chloe Turner. Chloe, oh my God. I learned from her husband, Rich, that she passed, and we want to dedicate this episode to her. And, you know, Chloe, thanks so much for listening. That was so nice. She was part of our group and everything.
Sending love to her family.
So much love to her family. Well, now that we've really brought the room down, let's talk about The Other Way, season 3, episode 7. But, you know, were we really even bringing the room down? Nothing happened.
It's true. I mean, everyone's going to start off sad. And then right now, everyone's going to want to vomit.
Right. It's like, yeah, okay. So we had some loss and now we have some yuck.
Yeah. A lot of yuck.
And I feel bad because, you know, just now you said to me, you were like, I didn't write that many notes. And I'm like, yeah, I didn't write that many notes.
Yeah, it was like such a filler episode. Really, nothing happened. Yeah.
You know, they make these seasons go on and on and on for hours and hours and hours of show. Why not make it a 1-hour show and give us some stuff that happens?
I agree. And cut the season in half. Everyone's happy.
Why don't you guys make it one episode? It's a movie. It's a feature film and it's once a year. Thanks so much.
Just include like the clips that you show before and after the commercial breaks.
Oh,
that's
God.
it. That's all we need.
That's all we really need. Just tell us what happens. Thank you so much. We're going to jump in the pool with Steven and Alina. No pun intended. So they're still at their wine testing. What a beautiful vineyard.
It hurts my skin like to watch him like my skin cringes so much it hurts. He may be one of my like top 3 least favorite humans. Yeah, he is
what we like to call here in New York City a skivats.
Yes,
that's exactly what he is. He absolutely is disgusting. I want to take this poor Alina and be like, Alina, what happened to you? Did something bad happen to you? And that's why you're like, this is a good idea. I mean, you seem to have a mom and grandma that love you.
Right. And her mom seems to have like a good head on her shoulders.
Right.
I don't understand.
But something clearly not great happened to her because this is what she's almost choosing for herself. And he says to her, I'm sorry that I'm not perfect.
I mean, what a stupid guy thing.
This is after he told her that he's hooked up with, or had sex so he hooked up with 100 girls. This is what he's telling her, like, I'm not a virgin. And he's like, oh, I'm sorry that I'm not perfect. Did you just drink that wine? And she said, did you just sleep with other girls?
No.
Thick burn, Alina.
Also, she says, how many women did you sleep with? And he's like, okay, hold on. Let's itemize everything that I've ever done with another woman.
Well,
I've made out with 100.
100. Sure, Jan.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. Okay. Then 24 of them, he went to some bases.
Right.
Question mark. And then 4 or 5 had sex. Now, here is my problem with that. This is how I know you're lying. If you had sex with 4 people, you know that it was 4 people.
Right.
If you had sex with 5 people, you know it was 5 people. So the fact that you're saying 4 or 5
That's true.
is telling me right off the bat, it's like, oh, I don't know. I had sex with 1 or 2 people. You have too low of a number to be confused about it.
That's true. I think then the number is maybe 2.
1.
If he's saying 4 or 5.
Right. Also, what is he considering sex? Because there are a lot of, gray areas, especially in the Mormon community.
That's a good point.
Does he think that holding hands counts as a base? I don't know.
There could be. I also recently discovered what soaking was.
Okay, I did too because of TikTok,
yes.
which is TikTok is where when I say discover, I mean, I did my research.
Yes.
And by I did my research, I mean, I watched a TikTok video about it. Yeah. So that's what I mean, though. It's like, and if you guys don't know what that is, I'm not telling you, you can Google it because that is not what we're here for. We're not here to educate you guys. That is what TikTok's for.
That's right.
Shannon, she said that she cannot trust a hypocrite. And he's like, well, that's why I'm worried that we're in the same apartment because I am a master maker outer. That's why. What does that mean?
He also says when she says that she can't trust him, oh, that's why I'm deleting my social media. It's not, he makes it like it was his idea that in order to prove himself, he's going to do this. It's no, like she said to do it and you reluctantly agreed.
He agreed because he's just going to block her. That's what happened. Right. He's like, I deleted it. You can't see my stuff, right? Can you just check? So he said that October was the last time he was with another woman. And she's like, oh, we were together. You should have picked a different month to tell me that it was the last time.
I meant September.
He's like, no, we were still together in September. And he's like, oh, everything else was like before that. And what happened was I was watching Star Wars with no good.
He says it like that's, I mean, what else are we going to do if we're watching Star Wars?
Well,
it's so hot.
I have to tell you, Star Wars, I never watched Star Wars because I am way too bored to watch Star Wars. So I kind of almost understand that.
Okay, I guess that makes sense. I have also never watched an entire Star Wars movie.
Right. We don't even know we haven't watched even one Star War. Nothing.
Maybe it is very sexy. I don't know.
maybe we didn't watch it long enough to see how beautiful the movie is, really.
Right. Also, I mean, I worry that with his creepiness level that he is a predator.
Okay.
And
100%.
And that his sexual things are maybe like not above board.
Yeah, that's Shannon. You can't stay in a room with someone because you're afraid that you're going to sexually assault them.
Right.
This is inappropriate. I don't like this at all. And the other thing that really bothers me is he only put on a front with her. So she's the girl that he's going to pretend he's religious with.
Right. Well, I think because, his family is Mormon, that he really wants to get himself there just so his family doesn't like shun him. But really, there's nothing in him that wants to follow those rules. He's like, maybe if I find someone who's going to like do it for me.
Sure. But then you talk about it on television.
Right.
So now we all know. So it's not her, it's you.
That's fair.
She locks him out of the apartment, which I think is very funny.
Also, I'm sorry to go back to this, but the way that she responds to him when he's telling her everything, I mean, she's not overly emotional about any of it. She seems very clear. And like her response is like she's kind of standing up for herself at least a little bit, which a little bit. I mean, considering that she's done something so stupid as to like fall in love with this guy and move to Turkey for him.
That's why she can't really react because she's like at the end, she's stuck. But also, why does she want to marry him? Because they're going to get married and live in Russia.
Right. So this scene is what made me consider that this couple is completely fake.
Yes.
That there's something about it that like makes them, they both just maybe met each other online, we're pen pals. And then we're like, let's just get on a television show.
It's like, should we do the show? And also whatever happened with Masha, the sexy decoy?
I'm dying to find out. They haven't even shown anything in the previews.
I know. And it's like, is this it? Like he deleted his social media and now it's over?
Or that's how we find out that he really didn't delete them is because he's still talking. That would be great.
I like that. I really like that. So she locks him out and now He's eating cereal inside the house. I guess she lets him back in eventually. And she's leaving to get her mom. And he's like, hey. And she does not talk to him, walks out. And we find out that she has not told her mom everything. She just tells her mom that they fought because he lied.
Right. Fair to not jump it all. But then it's like, say it all or say nothing, though. Because you want her to come and like, you either want her to approve of him or you want a way out, like pick one or the other.
So her mom said that she sees him for what he is. And then the mom comes, right? And she's like, he tells her in Russian that he has some chocolate for her. And he says, this is a quote, Russian people like when I speak Russian.
And then he says, because you speak it? He never finishes his sentence.
Yeah, because he knows that this is a terrible, because they like it, because it's Russian.
Because they can understand the words I'm saying to them.
Yeah, so he tells her in Russian that he has these truffles. And they're doing a lot of noises. They're making a lot of noises. And it's not just him. It's her mom. There's a lot of noises. It's almost as if there is some kind of crazy glue mixed with peanut butter in these truffles. You ever give like a dog peanut butter and their mouth sticks together?
I understand the concept.
Right. I mean, I haven't done it. I've seen people do it. I'm not friends with him anymore. But
Tracey, I don't know if you know this about me, that I have misophonia, which is like the aversion to sounds.
The noise. Yes.
And I've heard you and Noelle on the show talk so many times about things you've had to fast forward, things that you couldn't watch. And this is my first one.
Yeah, this isn't great.
I couldn't watch it. I couldn't listen to it. Also, who in their lives gives chocolates as a gift and says, okay, here is your gift of chocolates.
Eat it now.
Something. Yeah, so let's all eat one single piece together in silence
and look at each other. Oh no, but you know what? Here's the thing. It wasn't in silence.
You're right.
I wish it was in silence.
I can't.
And then but don't worry. Steven breaks it up with his manic laughing.
What about the why are they doing that? Who does that?
All of them, but all of them are doing it. And now I'm like, maybe they're all meant to be together. Maybe this is, maybe she does deserve him. And then he goes like he's going to give her an engagement ring. And he presents to her a cat purse. And that's when I'm like, you know what? Shannon might be won over right now.
Wait, you said it wrong, Tracey.
What did he call it? Oh, I'm sorry. A cat purse. Wait, you probably purr better than me. Go ahead.
Okay, let me try. No, I feel like it's not going to work. A purse.
Oh, that was good. That was
good.
I, I did it like scary.
Yeah.
Oh, it's like I was a ghost. I was a cat ghost.
I feel like with her reaction, this would not have won me over because that's
really,
not
I feel like
anything I wear.
Yeah, that's true. It is, but it is also like from Turkey. It's pretty cool. It's handmade, probably.
Fair, but also like her reaction to it makes me think that maybe if it were a little bit bigger and a different color, that this would have won her over.
Yeah,
because she loves it
for sure. So her mother brings up his lie. She's like, "Oh, so what happened? You were like lying a lot." I'm like, oh my God, this is not. She brings up his lies, and then she says, Steven is a bit odd. Yeah.
It's freaking weird.
Think? And then he asked for her blessings, and she's like, oh, okay, cool. I'm actually really jet lagged.
Tired.
And then she says, well, your prospects aren't very bright.
That was great. I really appreciate that she said that to her.
Oh my God. This woman must have been on the plane forever.
But do you think, it has to be that if this is a real couple, when the cameras go off, she's now in that room with her mother and being like, all right, let's just ride this out until this season is done. And then we'll go back home. Like that has to happen at this point.
Right. But she's not getting paid for this. Just remember that, because she is not an American citizen.
Oh God.
So what is the angle here? That's confusing, unless he's like, tipping her off on, I don't know, like sharing the money. I'm not positive.
Or maybe it's just for the trip to Turkey.
Maybe.
I don't
know. He's like, are you busy? You want to go to Turkey? Let's just hold on. Just sign this paper. It's fine. It's not. No, we're just friends. It's fine. Just we're going to go. You like wine?
Do you like to
You like
spit
chocolate?
you taste it and spit it out?
You like
The perfect
chocolate?
idea.
You like chocolate? Her mom, I feel bad for her mom because she really was on the plane for a very long time. She's very jet lagged and she was probably so bored on the plane. But guess what, Shannon?
What?
You can still play Best Fiends even when you don't have a connection.
I know that. I just went to Georgia, but to an island off of Georgia.
Ooh.
And my flight was delayed because I had to take a small little death plane as the second plane. And it was delayed because there was a storm on the island. So I was stuck on this tiny plane for an hour. And Best Fiends is what got me through it.
If you guys have listened to the show for a while, you know that we are all obsessed with Best Fiends. And I think it's the best match 3 style game by far. The rest are basically the same game with different color schemes. So stop crushing the same old candy and try a puzzle game with something fresh to offer. With Best Fiends, you play through an actual storyline, complete with good guys, the fiends, and not so good guys, the slugs. Not to brag, but I'm pretty far along. I am on a very high level right now. I have to check and see which one, but still, Best Fiends has literally thousands of levels with more added all the time. So there's always a fresh challenge waiting for me when I need a mental pick-me-up. Download Best Fiends free today on the App Store or Google Play. That's friends without the R. Best Fiends. Speaking of fiends, let's talk about Corey and Evelin.
Why is this 95% of the episode?
Okay, is this real?
So based on Evelin's posts that have just come out on social media recently, it seems like there is an element of truth to it.
Sure. So we open the scene. She's waxing her surfboard and he is gonna go quote job hunting. And by job hunting, we mean ex-girlfriend hunting. So he's gonna go see Jenny for the most selfish reasons. He wants closure. That's what he's doing.
But I don't know what the time period is now because I don't know when it is that they're filming this, but it's probably been months since this relationship has ended. And he's saying that he wants like officially ended. I think she gets it. I think after you don't hear from a guy for a few days, maybe a couple weeks, you kind of get
a couple
relationships.
Months.
Yeah. She's not holding her breath waiting to hear from you. I don't think.
I love Jenny. I love her. She is happy to see him, like a regular amount of happy. And he apologizes with a smirk on his face. So
he always has the smirk on his face.
I cannot. And then they show pictures of him and Jenny. Are these pictures from 1912? These are the most ridiculous pictures I've ever seen.
I agree.
She said that it was a beautiful magic relationship. And then she's like, oh, also
it was 5 minutes.
It took him 2.5 months to tell me that he was actually married.
Yeah.
It sounds like she might have broken up with him.
That could be. Or also it just seems like they casually dated, maybe hooked up like 3 times over the course of 3 months. And it's just, they're making it into something that it wasn't, or he is at least.
Well, regardless of that, she finds out 2.5 months in that he's married and she goes, oh yeah, no, I'm not interested in this at all. I'm not going to be in a relationship where there's a third party that I could hurt their feelings. So it sounds like she really did break up with him. And then he claims that he ghosted her. Now, he probably ghosted her after she broke up with him.
After she said goodbye.
Yeah. And
he's
respond. Yeah. He's like, I'm with Evelin now. She's like, oh, okay. She's so nice. And she tells him just like, tell Evelin the truth. But I actually have to go because I have a date. But thank you so much for coming.
And then he's like, even though up until now he hasn't told the truth, but when she says tell the truth, he's like, oh, I am going to do that, but because it's the right thing, not because you told me to.
Right. Sure you are. Also, did he drive to Peru?
I don't understand. Wasn't that where she was supposed to be?
Was she in town?
Now I don't understand it.
Oh my God.
He also made sure to tell her that he had strong feelings for her. Why is that a part of this conversation?
In case Evelin breaks up with him when he tells her the truth, he needs a backup. That's what's happening.
Fair.
So the producer asks him, do you still have feelings for Jenny? And he says that he has feelings for her as a person.
Yeah, not as a lamppost
or a bacteria. Like what does that even mean?
Not like a house plant.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Okay. As a person, this is a typical man response to a question. It's not answering it, but it's not answering it.
Right.
If Jenny sees it, he says that he does have feelings for her. If Evelin sees it, he was trying to be polite.
Right. But when Evelin sees that, and now I'm sure like this is part of what her reaction was, is going to stab him in the face because he's like, oh, wait, I need a shot of tequila before I can answer this
LOL.
question.
It's not LOL.
Wrong answer.
Corey.
Wrong answer.
It's not LOL. Okay. This is pretty bad. Now, there's some B-roll footage in the middle. Obviously, it's stray dogs eating meat and then meat. That's what we have to do. Every time there is a third world country, they have to remind us by showing us stray dogs eating meat on the street.
Right. Untreated water.
Yes. So Corey and Evelin take their dog. It's a husky for a walk. And
So
the dog's,
cute.
I think the dog's name is Puppy.
I think so.
And that's what Noelle's dog's name was.
Aww.
Oh. And so they get 2 coconuts, no straws. They just have to suck this juice out of the coconut.
It's romantic.
Oh yeah, it's super romantic. And then he says, this is how he starts the conversation. You know, I love you, beautiful. Corey, you don't talk like that. So why are we doing this?
Nothing that he says ever feels or sounds genuine.
Never.
Though.
Never.
And he does always say, I feel like a lot of cast members do this thing where they have a constant smirk on their face, regardless of the situation. Like, what's her face? Brittany.
Yeah. Oh, well, that's the ultimate smirk.
Yeah, the classic one. But yeah, he always, and so does Steven also, like always this weird smirk. It's so uncomfortable.
So uncomfortable. So then he tells her the truth and she sounds not shocked at all. And then she goes, what do you think? You're some kind of Brad Pitt. And this is something that you could count on. You could always count on Evelin to just throw some digs in, regardless of what it is.
Yeah, just to make sure like because there's absolutely like he's bringing this to the show. So people think he's a big man that women want. So I feel like that was necessary to take him down a couple of pegs.
Sure. So she's like, you're gross. And he said that she told him at the time that it was okay to see other people. And he told Jenny that he was getting married, but he is married and he was married. So that's not even the truth. What?
Right. And he's also not grasping that that's not what the problem is. The problem is that you lied when she asked you very clearly about it.
I mean, he made up an entire story that wasn't true.
Right.
He didn't also just leave things out.
And when he starts to tell her this story, he's like, listen, I'm going to be 100% honest with you. Like he's doing her a favor. Like, here, babe, I have a present for you. I'm going to not being a lying asshole.
But he still is, because he told this girl that he was getting married. That's not true.
Right.
You are married. You were married. So she wants him to leave. She wants a divorce. And she's texting him obsessively about him being a liar, which is very funny. And then she's crying. This is the problem with Evelin. She wanted him to fight for her. And her ego is so bruised right now.
Right.
Because he didn't. He wasn't doting on her. And she said that she's going to punch him if she sees him, which I have a little bit of an issue with. Because can you imagine if Corey said, if I see Evelin, I'm going to punch her?
Fair.
I think that like TLC would flip out. Everyone in the message boards would flip out. Facebook would go crazy. They'd be like, fire Corey, fire Corey. So like, maybe, I don't know, just throwing that out there.
That's fair. I do understand a little bit though of what she's saying at the end about the dilemma of telling the family that like a divorce may be coming up.
Okay. But you know what, Evelin, you knew that Corey wasn't the best. You married him. Stop playing like you were dumb and like, I don't know, I had to marry him. It's like, no, come on. First of all, you guys knew how the visa process worked.
Right.
You knew that you had to marry him for him to stay there. So please stop.
How much longer can they drag this storyline out at this point though?
Hopefully after this, not anymore. So he said that he's going to go sleep on a hammock, but it turns out she lets him sleep inside, and then he talks to her and she says something that I'm like, oh, forget it. She said that he swore on his dead dad that he did not sleep with this girl.
I have had guys do this same thing where you think that there is one sacred thing that will be the lie detector, that there's one thing that if you make them swear on it, then you'll know that they're telling the truth. And it's just guys are
don't
going to lie
care.
no matter what. They don't believe in anything.
Shannon, even the good ones aren't great.
Amen.
Also, she has pageant hair. Have you seen this? The teasing that's going on at the crown of her head is outrageous.
I was thinking maybe it's because like they're on the beach and maybe it's humidity.
No, I think she's
right.
teasing. I don't know what's happening. There's a lot of teasing. I think that she definitely has curlier hair than she lets on. I think she straightens it a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, maybe, I don't know, maybe there's some root stuff going on with her. It's very high.
It's like when Monica from Friends, when they go to Aruba.
Yes.
Monica's hair blows
And
up.
the humidity just can't take it.
Yes.
Well, guys, since you're listening to the show, I think it's safe to say that you love listening to podcasts. Well, you'll find a ton of binge-worthy podcasts, including ours on Amazon Music. Amazon Music has more than 10 million free podcast episodes to listen to. But Amazon Music isn't just for listening to podcasts. They have thousands of music stations and top playlists to stream for free. And no matter what you're listening to, you can go hands-free with Alexa. I don't like to say that loud because then my Alexa goes off in the house. If you're like me and you want your music on demand and ad-free, you have to try Amazon Music Unlimited. That gives you unlimited access to over 75 million songs, as well as podcasts, music videos, and more. With Amazon Music Unlimited, you can listen to any song anywhere offline with unlimited skips. Shannon, you could have listened to it on the tiny little plane.
Oh, damn it. Next time.
If you've never tried Amazon Music Unlimited, now's a great time. For a limited time, new customers can try Amazon Music Unlimited free for 3 months. No credit card required. Just go to amazon.com/fiance. That's amazon.com/fiance to try Amazon Music Unlimited free for 3 months. Amazon.com/fiance. Renews automatically. Cancel anytime. Terms apply. Jenny and Sumi. This is funny.
This is fun.
It made me giggle a little bit. They're going to meet with a counselor. So Sumi still doesn't work.
So okay, so they're both living off of Jenny's Social Security.
I think so. He doesn't work, and then his mother's in a confessional, and his mom's like, "No, there's nothing good about this. This is very bad." And they start talking to the counselor, and the father's like, "What if they break up in 5 to 10 years? What happens then?" And basically what they're saying is like that Jenny is going to be very, very, very old in 5 to 10 years. Like she's not going to be able to, or dead. Right. And she's like, I could be alone. And she goes, good. Then go be alone with your daughters right now. And then Sumi said, what about me? I'm not going to get anyone else. What do you... He's saying like he never wants another girlfriend if him and Jenny break up.
Right. But the way that he answers the thing, like when he's translating, which is he the only one translating, or is there a translator there?
I hope there's a translator there because he is not very honest.
Right. So
Michael Jones is not to be trusted.
Yes. But when they're explaining why they're worried about this, and it's basically that if she dies, who's going to take care of you?
Right.
And the therapist is like, oh, they're concerned, but they're concerned in a good way, but it's not a good way towards Jenny.
Yeah.
But also when Sumi responds, he is kind of responding when he's translating for Jenny, he's basically saying it in a way where he's also asking the question, like, wait, what does happen if you die or get old? Who's going to take care of me? Like, he's not standing up for the relationship. He's like ganging up with his family
he's like,
against
oh
her.
Man, mom has a point. I will be very hungry. Also, they explained that there are no old age homes in India because the family takes care of family, which means like basically in India, and we see it here in America too with Indian people that move here. It's usually multi-generational households, and that is just a cultural thing. They all live together. And Sumi said, don't worry, Jenny, we're here to convince my parents. And it's like, I don't think that is what you're here for.
It's absolutely not.
Jenny said that he will never choose her over his family. And she is right.
She is right. I mean, he keeps saying, what else do you want me to do? I'm trying. He's doing literally nothing.
Yeah.
He's just kind of like, if she forces him to do something, then he finally does it, except getting married.
Yep. So the therapist said that his mom needs to let him live his life. And she's like, okay, instead of that, she's like, I hear you. But instead of that, I'm going to move in with them. And I'm going to teach Jenny how to be a wife. I'm going to teach her traditions. And she also says that she needs to live with Sumi because she's very attached to him.
Right. So now in her doing this amazing thing for everybody.
Yeah.
She now doesn't care that Jenny is going to die soon. Now she just cares that she's going to be, yes. But now she's claiming she just wants to make sure that she's a good Indian daughter-in-law.
Right. So obviously there's an ulterior motive, which I love. I think this is so funny.
It's great. She's like, watch this.
She's like, okay, you know what? Get married. Yeah. No. You guys live together. I love it. It's my favorite. I love it so much. I'm going to come over there.
I can't wait for this.
Clear out the house for this. So now they go to the next scene and there's a monkey eating flatbread. And I'm like, interesting. And then all of a sudden we're at the monkey god temple and there are bajillions of monkeys just surrounding them. And she also says that they're talking in front of the temple. And she said that she's suspicious of his mother's motives. Jenny pays the rent. This is her house. And she said that she doesn't want it. It's too much. How about this one? Then go home.
That's true.
Then go home.
Also, this situation is Sumi's dream come true.
Yeah.
He can't even keep the smile off his face while he's talking to Jenny about it because he is ecstatic. He can have both of his mommies in one home.
He can have
always
all
dreamed
the sag paneer that he wants. He could be like, finally, she could teach her how to make it the right way. This is amazing. This is amazing.
Also, they're absolutely sitting in so much monkey pee as they're having this conversation.
Well, we find out that the pee is not what the danger is. These monkeys are now attacking them. And then I love how Jenny's like, he's looking at me. All right. So now let's move on to the most, I would say this might be the most boring couple on the show, Kenny and Armando.
Yes.
So Cassie went home and they're filing the paperwork now for their marriage license because they picked a date and they're going to the marriage office. And of course, they're so worried they're not going to get approved. So they give the paperwork to the clerk at the marriage office and they're like, here is our petition. We got this from, the Human Affairs office and this is a special letter. And he's like, oh yeah, no, you don't have to do that. This is a legal marriage. No one cares about that. We actually would have never denied you. It's legal everywhere in Mexico. And he's like, oh my God, we made it legal just in this town. And he's like, no, it's legal all over Mexico for everyone that wants to get married. We don't care.
Like, but because of us, right?
He's like, because I cried, right? It's me and Truffles that fought the good fight, right? And they're like, no.
Yeah, they're like, yeah, sure. Yeah. It has something to do with it. It's fine. Yes.
And then Hannah, they're like, Hannah, we can get married. She's like, no, I know. I've known this for like many, many episodes.
But trying to tell you.
We all knew this. They made you get a fake letter. That was your entire storyline. And then it's like, well, I don't know if Armando's dad's going to come to the wedding. Oh my God. Leave the guy alone. And you know what? If I was Armando's dad and I was watching this, I'd be like, you know what? I love gay people. I love that my son is gay. I'm not going to the wedding because I'm annoyed.
Right. I mean, if they would just like hang out with him one time without mentioning their relationship or the wedding, I bet it would never be an issue ever again. They just try to shove it down his throat any chance that they can.
Yeah. It's not a real storyline. This is definitely a fake storyline that's going on. Or if they believe it, this is even more annoying.
Right. And now do you see, I don't know if this is the time where we can mention the coming attraction.
Sure.
But that they're running out of that storyline and now it's about adopting a child.
Oh, I didn't even watch the coming attractions. That's exciting.
Yeah, because Armando says that he wants to have another kid. And then Kenny says he doesn't, but he'll adopt a kid. And this is now where they clash.
Oh, so he doesn't want to get pregnant.
Right.
Yeah. Oh, I got it.
He doesn't want to ruin his body. I mean,
I get it. That is a temple. They're in Mexico. There are so many great food options. Shannon, Mexican food,
The best.
The best. And with Noom, no food is totally off limits. You can keep eating food you love while learning to maintain a healthier balance. An off day is totally okay, and it won't set you off course. Noom gently helps you get back on track. And Noom only asks for 10 minutes of your day to teach you about your eating habits and check in on your progress. More than 80% of Noom users complete the program, and more than 60% of users lose 5% or more of body weight, and 60% of them keep the weight off for a year or more. So Noom is great because you can actually just focus on something like eating more vegetables. That's a really great thing. So that's what I've been changing. I've been trying to focus on eating a little bit more vegetables because Noom has a cognitive behavioral approach. It helps you unlearn bad habits and better understand your relationship with food. Start building better habits for healthier long-term results. Sign up for your trial at Noom.com/trash talk. That's Noom, NOOM.com/trash talk. Let's move on to Binyam and Ariela. Nothing happens here either.
No, I have a question about them though.
Anything.
Does he not have any parental rights over his first child at all?
Okay, so I think that it gets really, really sticky when it's across the world.
Were they not married?
I don't think it matters. I don't know if they might not have been married, but I really no. I would say that they weren't married because he doesn't talk about being divorced,
right?
But I don't think it would matter.
You would think that Ari would maybe, because she's an American, her family is in America, and that's where his baby mama is. Like maybe try to make like this, like ruined his life and traumatized him. Like maybe try to make some sort of connection or something, and it's just never brought up at all.
Right? Just like exactly. Like, hey, can you guys help me? Your dad's like a doctor. They have, your mother's a nurse practitioner. Not that that has anything to do with anything legal, but like. You have to know some people. You have to have the funds to maybe help. Like, to be honest with you, if I was Ari's family, like that would be important to me.
Right.
To like kind of work, like, campaign for something like that. Ariela is packing to go to the United States, and she said that she's going to go for 1 month. But while she was packing the night before, he hid her passport. Okay. So the problem is, Binyam, I get what you're doing. It's not going to work. She'll get a new passport eventually. Also, your son needs the surgery.
Right.
Or does he? Or is she going to the United States for her faceotomy?
I think that's definitely the biggest part of it. Because also when she's explaining to him like, oh, I have to go because he needs the surgery, but also... and then like family wants to see him, whatever, but there shouldn't be a but also if the surgery is that imperative.
Exactly. And also I have a faceotomy plan.
Right.
I have a full faceotomy plan. And then she tells him that you will always be my family in his language. The accents that she uses when she speaks English to him, offensive.
It's bad.
It's really bad. So she gets him an engagement ring, and inside of it, it says forever family. He drops her at the airport, and he is very afraid that they won't come back. He is hysterical.
I do feel bad.
He's hysterical, talking about how he hasn't seen his son in 2 years. Now, I will say this. In the past, I have been a little skeptical about the situation with Binyam and his first son. I feel like, I don't know, man. Is this like just kind of what he does? Like he finds an American woman, he gets her pregnant. Like, is this his thing? And then the crying that went on in this confessional, I was like, oh, he's for real. He's sad.
But he could also, he hasn't been great to her from what we've seen, at least in like the past season,
right?
Where he'll he's excited about this new person, knocks her up, and then continues to live his like party boy lifestyle, and then gets mad when they get up and leave. So it could also be a situation that he is creating for himself.
Right. He's manifesting this bad situation. Yeah, I could see that too. And I think that a little bit of the problem too is that she has a nanny, and he thinks that the nanny and her are supposed to raise the child, and he can go gallivant.
Right.
This might be, again, a cultural thing. And by cultural, I mean men and women.
Yes,
men do this.
Yes, right. My favorite part of this scene though is when she's like, oh, I'm gonna go and I'm gonna be home and really comfortable and I'm gonna have my baby to cuddle up with, but you're gonna be you're gonna have no one. You're gonna be all alone. I'm so sorry.
You're gonna
for
have
you.
no one. You're not gonna have. Wait, are you gonna have your ex? No. Are you gonna have your other kid? No. He left. They both left you. You're not gonna have
me?
anyone. No.
No.
Are you gonna have this kid? No. Everyone you love is gonna be in America. But don't worry, BRB.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that is really. I mean, nothing really happened. I don't think we're missing anything. This was a pretty cut and dry situation. Guys, thank you so much for listening. Make sure if you want to discuss the podcast or the show, go over to Facebook. We have a great Facebook discussion group, 90 Day Fiance Trash Talk on Facebook. Shannon, where could everyone find you and tell us about your podcast?
So I also like to post in the 90 Day Fiance Trash Talk Facebook group. I really enjoy that group. But you can follow me on Instagram at ShannonLee6982 and listen to my podcast. The Thing Is, ding, we talk about bad dates, fighting, and ghosts. We have people from all sorts of walks of life. We have comedians, musicians, reality stars, porn stars, everything. And they come on and tell their stories about their worst date experiences, street fights that they've been in, and experiences with the paranormal. And now, especially in the month of October, we have a lot of listener stories that we're playing about their personal ghost stories. So it's really fun.
Well,
and you can listen to that wherever you get podcasts.
I posted in our groups actually, so that our listeners can call in and leave the voicemails about their stories. And people were going crazy, Shannon.
Yes, please share the stories. Actually, let me find, I didn't memorize the number because who can do that? But I do have the phone number if you guys want to leave.
We could also post it in the group. So make sure you're joining the Facebook group because we'll post it. But if you have the number there, you could share it with everyone too.
So it's a Google voicemail. So if you can keep it to 3 minutes, that would be ideal. And it's 732-997-7066. So any experience that you guys have had that creeped you out in the moment or was unexplainable are the stories that I'm dying to hear. So please,
Shannon, I have a lot of unexplainable stories, but they have nothing to do with ghosts. It's just who I am as a person. Guys, you could follow me at Trixie Tuzini on Instagram and Twitter, and make sure you're following the show 90 Day Podcast on Instagram and Twitter. Noelle's doing a great job of keeping us up to date. We actually very recently got some exclusive Sinjin content that we posted on Instagram. So go check it out over there. 90 Day Podcast, Instagram and Twitter. And if you're listening to the show and you love it, please go over and give us a 5-star rating, amazing review on whatever platform you listen to us on. We absolutely love you. Thank you so much for listening. And, we'll see. Maybe I'll take Noelle back next week. ? We love you. Bye.
Bye.